Hi there, it's Emily Juries, licensed clinical mental health counselor. This episode, I'm tackling the question of whether or not we can trust our feelings. I decided on this topic, that's Manny in the background making some noises. I decided on this topic because I've heard books and podcasts make some statements about trusting feelings, not trusting them, following our feelings, not following our feelings. It sounds like there really is actually a consensus about what to do with our feelings, regardless of which side of the argument you're on. So I wanted to share that here and clarify the two sides of the arguments. In the notes, I do mention a couple of the places that I've heard this phrase and arguments come up in case you're interested in hearing directly from those perspectives. So, as I've come to understand it, the argument to trust our feelings goes something like this. All of our feelings, including physical and emotional feelings, are coming up for a reason and are valid. Thus, we should pay attention to what is coming up for us and consider what these feelings are trying to tell us in order to make decisions that are in line with our values and our true selves. Our feelings also might be important in setting boundaries that will actually help foster our connections. Our feelings might point out injustices and issues that we want to stand up for. Our feelings might help us understand ourselves and other people better. Some will argue that our body is the true compass to living a good life because the feelings and reactions and even physical pain can help signal you away from things that are not in line with your values and help guide you towards things that are in line with your values. Martha Beck, a well-known life coach, talks about this in her book, The Way of Integrity. On the other side, the argument to not trust our feelings, I think, is mostly referring to the fact that our feelings are coming from our own interpretations and assumptions and beliefs about a situation, and therefore can be a little misguided regarding what is actually happening or what might be the best reaction. For example, if someone in the grocery store walks by you and makes eye contact and then sighs, presenting a little hostile or irritable as they go past, maybe something like along those lines, you'll feel differently and have a different urge on what to do based on how you're interpreting that. So if you interpret that as this person is frustrated at me and with me, then you might start to feel angry at this injustice or fearful and scared at what they might say or do. And this anger and fear could, for some people, lead to a confrontation or an attempt to defend yourself. Or if you interpret the situation as, oh, this person's having a rough day and their feelings have nothing to do with me, then you likely won't have much more anger or fear or have any urges to confront them or defend yourself. You might instead feel some empathy around having a bad day. Maybe try to give them a warm smile or just some space. So when you consider this example, you could understand why people might feel like you can't trust your feelings, because in that first interpretation, it was an assumption that led to the anger and to the urge of confronting a person when that might not have been accurate to what was happening for the other person and lead to possible unnecessary conflict. And there are a lot of examples where we typically don't want to react the way our initial feelings seem to want us to react. For example, feeling angry and having the urge to punch someone, or feeling anxious and having the urge not to do our presentation that we're required to do, or feeling depressed and having the urge to lay in bed all day, even though that's been depleting our energy further and further. In these examples, our feelings might actually seem to be guiding us away from actions that would get us closer to our ultimate goals, like having connections with people, or building confidence at work, or helping ourselves find some joy again. In either argument, there is still an importance in paying attention to and understanding our feelings. And this is confirmed in all the sources that I've seen this topic posed on either side of the argument. The conclusions still come back to acknowledging what is coming up and taking time to reflect on that. So in my opinion, if you want to answer the question, can we trust our feelings? My simple answer would be yes. It depends on what exactly you mean by trusting our feelings, because as noted before, some urges from our feelings that arise don't always bring us towards our goals and can be based on interpretations that are not known to be true. But also, all feelings are coming up for a reason. All feelings are valid in some way. And all feelings are giving us data and information about ourselves that are important. In the example of the irritated person making eye contact with you, if you interpret it as them being angry with you and you begin to feel angry and defensive, that's important information to notice and reflect on. Those feelings are valid. It's valid to feel angry at the idea of a stranger being angry with you when you did not take any action towards them. And the idea would be to notice the anger, recognize that your assumption may not be accurate, and then at some point, reflect on where that assumption may have come from. Is it a pattern that I assume that people are angry with me? Where might this pattern be coming from? What assumptions do I have about myself if I'm frequently assuming that people are angry with me? A lot can be considered and reflected on there. Our physical and emotional feelings are important signals that are a culmination of our past experiences and current beliefs. And paying attention to our feelings can help us better understand what our current beliefs are, how they came about, and how we'd like to respond to them going forward. So trust that your feelings are important, but take the time to reflect and investigate them before reacting to them. That's it for this episode, and I hope you have a great day.